So I've been noticing that a lot of spas and franchises are now offering myofascial release, i.e., myofascial therapy, on their menu. Okay, spas and franchises operate off of buzzwords. Okay, so the new trend in massage is myofascial therapy. Now, it used to be lymphatic drainage, which it still is, but now the new trend is myofascial release. And you're not going to get clinical myofascial work done in a franchise, nor are you going to get that type of work done in a fancy spa. They don't operate to be able to give you guys clinical work. Spas are in the business of relaxing you really good. Okay, so what you're going to get you're going to get their version of myofascial release or myofascial therapy is a stripped down version of the technique. Okay, they're not going to offer no postural assessments. Postural assessments, by the way, enable me to determine the root cause of your pain. All right, they're not going to offer that. They're not going to take any measurements of any parts of your body so that they can keep track of the changes that are being made. So how do you know that what they're doing is going to work if they're not keeping track of the changes in your body? Okay, they're not going to address the entire line of tension. So, for example, when you go to a spa, they ask you, what areas would you like to focus on today? Because that's what I did when I worked in a spa. And the person says, oh, I have a pain in my shoulder. Okay. So they're going to rub that shoulder. They're going to rub it to death. And they probably will be using oil. For a true Barnes myofascial therapy, we don't use oil because oil does not enable us to engage the deeper layers of fascia to relieve the pain and the restrictions. Okay. So they're going to rub your soreness to death. All right. And then say bye to you. And then the next person comes in and they're going to flip the rooms just like that. They're going to keep it going because they got to have that money coming in. Okay. When you come to my clinic or any other specialized myofascial therapy clinic, you don't have to come to me. But if you do go to a clinic, make sure they're going to give you some postural assessments. Make sure they're going to give you some assessments whereby they're going to measure your hips, and make sure that they're going to record whatever they find in your assessments into your client chart so that they can keep track of the changes so that they are not just working randomly on your body. Because if you go to a spa and you tell them it hurts right here, I want some myofascial therapy, they're going to do a little bit, but they're going to go get the oil and they're going to rub it down, rub you to death. All right. Because that's what I did when I worked in a spa in a franchise. So when you come to precision myofascial therapy, we do specialized work. So if you say you have pain in your shoulders, I'm not just going to work your shoulder. I'm going to work the entire line of tension, which is your pec muscles, your abs, all the way down to your feet if I have to, because I'm going to test you and see where the tension is stemming from. And sometimes I got to work in the quads. Sometimes I got to these. I don't want to use technical words, but the shin, I'll work that, and the feet. Okay? So you're going to get a more thorough job if you go to a place that specializes in myofascial therapy and myofascial release. Okay? So when I'm doing myofascial release on a client and I'm doing a prolonged hold, the client is going to feel some pulsing underneath my hand, right? What that pulsing is the fascia is starting to release and elongate, right? So if you have knots and stuff right here in your back, of course I'm going to work here and I'm going to relieve that tension from the knots here. But I'm also going to address the hips. Because if the hips are imbalanced, for example, most people have a hip hike, right? Most people have a hip hike. It's not this exaggerated, but I'm just saying one of your hips could be higher than the other, right? And your body compensates. So your body is going to try to level you out. In the process of your body trying to level itself out, you are going to get or to have issues and pain and tension in that area, right? Because the root cause of the issue is not here, it's here. So not only do I relieve the entire line of frontal tension, I also relieve the restrictions in the hip so that your hips are more even, and so you're not doing this kind of thing, and then your body is compensating to kind of level you out. Okay, so in continuation, another thing you might notice is that when you go to a spa, you, the client, are often dictating the treatment. Okay, so in my office, the reason I do postural assessments is so I can create a treatment plan. So I know how to treat what's going on with you as an individual so that I can get the best results. Now, in a spa, you tell the person where you want them to work, okay? Which is fine, but also know that the root cause is not just going to be where you're feeling the pain. So as a professional, when you come to my office, I will let you know that. I will address that area, but I'm also going to really address the root cause so the pain doesn't keep coming back and you're not in a hamster wheel and we're not just, going through a vicious cycle of you coming back and then I'm relieving your pain and then you got to come back again and then I got to relieve the same pain. Okay. Another thing is spas have a once a month model. Okay. I'm not a spa. I'm not a franchise. I am a clinical grade myofascial therapist. In order to get results, you are not going to come to my office once a month because you won't get any results and you will be wasting your money. Okay. So because myofascial work is progressive, each session builds on the last. The more sessions you have, that you have built up, your body will enter into a plasticity stage where the changes that are being made in your session will eventually stick and hold so that you don't need quite as many sessions later on down the line. Now, I can't tell you how many sessions it's going to take because each person is different. Each person has different levels of dysfunction. Depending on where your dysfunction is, will dictate how long your treatment is going to be. But all my clients start in on a once a week basis, not once a month. You come in once a month, you might as well go to a spa because it's not going to be effective for you. Okay.